Dillian Whyte pulls out of the Ipswich card this weekend. According to Frank Warren, there is a massive fight lined up in August for Dillian Whyte. Now, Dillian Whyte has been disappointing since his loss to Tyson Fury. He's only fought 3 times, and that is in 2022. He then fought Jermaine Franklin, Christian Hamer, and Ebenezer Tete. And that is it. Dillian Whyte should be much more active than that. Now, part of it is Dillian Whyte's fault because, as you guys would remember, Dillian Whyte was lined up for, once again, one of the biggest fights of his career, and that is against Anthony Joshua, the rematch. And as we all know, Dillian Whyte failed the drugs test and therefore had to serve a ban. So, look, I know that in a lot of instances, Dillian Whyte has complained about inactivity, but I think he's brought a lot of it on himself. And now he looks like he's going downhill. Dillian Whyte has not always been the most technically gifted heavyweight, but I think what has carried Dillian Whyte in the heavyweight division is the fact that he's very tenacious, he's very resilient, he's got heart, and he's always up for a fight. And this has stand him in good stead in most of his fights. But I think Dillian Whyte, at this point of his career, if he's going to have a big fight, he has to perform, and he has to perform at the best of his ability, because I think this is the last chance he's going to get to redeem himself or to get a big fight. Because if he loses this fight that is coming up in August, I think it's curtains for Dillian Whyte. I think his time at a decent level in the heavyweight division is absolutely done. Well, he can go on to become a gatekeeper for the likes of Moses Itauma, but he's not going to fight Fabio Wardley because that's his fighter. But, you know, somebody like Fraser Clark, it could be an interesting fight. So, who is Dillian Whyte going to fight in August? Now, I have my suspicion, guys. I do. And I think it's either Lawrence Okolie, because Lawrence Okolie has been calling Dillian Whyte out over the years, and recently he's come out and said some really nasty things about him and the fact that Dillian Whyte is ducking and he's a chicken. So it's interesting. It will be a kind of a big fight in the UK, not, you know, massive, not Wembley, but definitely will sell out the O2. Dillian Whyte versus Lawrence Okolie. And Lawrence Okolie has had his debut in the heavyweight division, so I'm sure that he would love to knock Dillian Whyte out because they've had some back and forth when it came to sparring, and, you know, Lawrence Okolie feeling that he's had the best of Dillian Whyte and he feels like he can beat Dillian Whyte. And of course, Dillian Whyte claiming that Lawrence Okolie is just chatting rubbish and therefore cannot beat him. So look, I think that could be an interesting fight and definitely will sell out the O2. And I think the fight that we will probably get an announcement soon in August, hence why Dillian Whyte has pulled out of the Ipswich card, is I think against Joseph Parker, the rematch. I think this fight might be the fight because, as we all know, Joseph Parker is looking to fight. He's been calling everyone out, which he deserves, in my opinion. I've made a number of videos about Joseph Parker deserving his opportunity to fight for the world title. But as we can see, Usyk is fighting Dubois. The titles are tied up. We don't know what's going to happen next. Joseph Parker is going to get his opportunity, but I think probably in the meantime, and although it is in August, after the undisputed fight, I think it's either Lawrence Okolie or Joseph Parker. And I think either fight would be interesting because Dillian Whyte versus Joseph Parker, stylistically, is always an interesting fight. I think right now, Joseph Parker absolutely obliterates Dillian Whyte because I think Dillian Whyte is currently shot to bits. I think his punch resistance is gone. As I said, he's not technically gifted anyway, but one thing I can give Dillian Whyte is he will come to fight, he's got heart, he's resilient, and he will give a very good account of himself. But I think Joseph Parker will absolutely destroy Dillian Whyte. So look, get in the comment section and let me know what you think about Dillian Whyte's career so far. After losing to Tyson Fury, he's never the same. He hasn't fought any decent fighters. He's brought a lot of the inactivity on himself with the drugs that has been found in his system, and not improving as a fighter, in my opinion. And I've actually watched all of Dillian Whyte's fight because I've followed his career from when he started in professional to now, his career basically going downhill. So look, I think it'll be interesting to see who he fights in August. Let me know what you think about Dillian Whyte. Let me know who you want to see Dillian Whyte fight next. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave your comments in the section below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.